Hey everyone, Chris Lambert with Film Colossus here doing a rank and review of KOYAANISQATSI. And I had heard about this movie for a while in name only. I didn't really know anything about it, but it was playing in theaters and it seemed like one of those movies that if I was going to see it, seeing it in theaters would be the way to do it. And there were visuals that were completely stunning. And that's all that it is. It's a fully visual movie. It's kind of like adult Fantasia or pro environments, anti like society Fantasia for adults. So the way that Fantasia has these brilliant animated sequences mixed with classical music pieces, here you have these very interesting and fascinating visual sequences about the world around us, right? Whether it's just nature or city life or nightlife or the hot dog plant, things like that. It's very fascinating what it chooses to show people and the way in which it kind of lingers on these elements of just people moving through a train station or the traffic on a highway, or apartment buildings and like skyscrapers and the lights going on and off, all these different things. I just found it kind of boring. The through line that this KOYAANISQATSI is a prophecy of society starting to crumble and people being stressed, and this idea that modern society is really not healthy for people and we need to find ways to kind of step back and get back to nature and stop maybe embodying the Icarus metaphor, parable, story of Icarus flying too close to the sun, like technology giving him wings, flying too close to the sun, the wings melting and him plummeting. KOYAANISQATSI kind of puts society in that place that we're starting to fly too close to the sun, and there are consequences that are going to arise just in terms of society, but also in terms of nature and environments. That's an interesting premise. I just don't think that it works over the course of how long this movie is. I just needed something a little more dynamic than what it was doing. It felt like the whole time the tone and the pace was just this very even keel, where I wanted a few more highs and lows. Like you watch Fantasia, they do slow stuff, they do dark stuff, they do fast stuff, they do things that are creepy. It's this medley of emotions, and I don't quite think that KOYAANISQATSI hit the proper emotional range, especially how I had recently seen Fires of Love. And there's just such a difference between, or Fire of Love, and there's such a difference between Fire of Love just having a little bit of narration and a narrative through line in terms of the volcanologist couple that it's following, versus KOYAANISQATSI not having anything like that at all. I think the Fire of Love video footage was just as impressive, if not more impressive, than KOYAANISQATSI, and you had a narrative through line. And I think my biggest complaint about this was that the music was a little too stagnant. It didn't change up enough. It wasn't compelling enough over periods of time, where it felt really repetitive for long stretches, which the same could probably be said about me. But I just wish that the music was a little more dynamic too. So KOYAANISQATSI actually ends up in my all-time rankings. I've been doing a lot of my 2022 rankings for the videos, but I have an all-time rankings list, and KOYAANISQATSI ends up down at number 30 out of 35, 36 total in the neutral category, kind of at the bottom of neutral, which equates to 2.5 stars, right? And I have it at the bottom because it's just so lacking in narrative that it's hard to even put it above like the Bob's Burgers movie. Like visually, KOYAANISQATSI is much higher, but there's just not much else going on. And the core concept that kind of drives it is fascinating, but not enough. But I have it above the negatives, like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Minions Rise of Gru, because it just didn't frustrate me in the ways, like I wasn't rolling my eyes the way that I was rolling my eyes at parts of these movies, or angry the way that I was in parts of these movies. So it's like the highs of KOYAANISQATSI were higher than these, but it was dangerously close to just being so boring that it's going down into this category. And who knows, over time, maybe I'll just get angry at it one day and move it lower. But that is the rank for KOYAANISQATSI in my all-time rankings so far. Until next time, cheers.